Hi everyone, hope everyone is doing really very well. Welcome to 13th December Daily Decodes, the news analysis where we decode the Hindu newspaper at Insights IAS. So let's move to important news for today. So before we move for the important news, thought for the day is we cannot solve problem with the kind of thinking we employed when we came up with them. That is said by Albert Einstein, that the mindset of creating problems or finding problems and the mindset of being solution oriented has to be different. So anybody can find the problems, or for that matter even I can say that there might be very good people who are able to find the exact problem, but with the mindset of a problem, you are only trying to find out how this problem came, what is the problem with the system, what is the problem for that matter in the country, in the bureaucracy. But when you have a solution oriented approach, you might not be getting the solution to that 100% problem, or even if you are able to get 60-70% of the solution mindset has to be there, because solution mindset is very positive in nature, where you're trying to find what can be the best resources to find a solution. Similarly, in life, a lot of problems will come. Either we stick to those problems or keep finding the problem, or either we find the resources and work towards the solution. That should be our goal and that should be our agenda. So with this, good morning to everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session. Hi, Sakshi. Hi, Parikshit. Hi, everyone. Okay. So with this lovely thought, let's move towards the important news. But before that, OGB 2026 batch 1 is starting on 2nd January 2025. It will include GS, CSAT, essay. For all details, you can also scan this QR code or call on this number. And this would be under the guidance of Vinay Sir, who is founder and director of Insights IAS. Okay, so important news if I talk about. So that is Gukesh is the youngest world chess champion. So the champion has arrived and he has become the youngest chess champion at the age of 18 years. And there were such emotional videos which were circulating yesterday. He hugging his father, and once he won the championship and he was very emotional, then setting up the chessboard and doing pranam to the chessboard. So lot of good things we saw in that match, and eventually defeating the Chinese counterpart. After that, all the Vishwanath Anand, the coach, and everyone is so very much happy about it. So it's whole in all, it's a one wholeheartedly I should say it's a wonderful effort, and congratulations to the youngest chess champion. And he has just broken the Garry Kasparov record, and even Garry Kasparov has tweeted, or he has written his statements on about the champion on X. So wonderful day for India, without any doubt. So center committed to protecting country's heritage. That is about statements have been given by the culture minister, and what is happening in Mahakumbh, and after 2014 important numbers related to tourism has been given, which we can employ in our answers. Many fake narratives on privatization, says Railway Minister. This is related to Railway Amendment Bill 2024, because lot of confusion or lot of statements have coming from opposition that this bill will move towards take the railways towards privatization. So statements have come from the Railway Minister. We'll understand the Railway Amendment Bill, and most importantly, we'll all understand from the last 10 years how railway has improved and what is the agenda of railway in the coming future. Tragedy sparks debate, call for gender neutral reforms. This is related to the Atul Subhash case, which is garnering headlines from from High Court to Supreme Court to all important bodies are talking about it. Important statements from Tejasvi Surya, Kangana Ranaut, and many other important advocates like Vikas Pava has come, and they have spoken about multiple sections and how the matrimonial laws have been used against men, and we also need to talk about men rights. So as promised yesterday we will talk about it. An editorial, Pakistan at the UNSC, United Nations Security Council, so it will become the non-permanent member, in the sense for again it will come and the points of it compass what it will focus, what would be the focus of Pakistan rhetoric and how India can counter it. So these are the important news for today. So let's jump on to that. So first of all, FIDE World Championship, the champion has arrived. Gukesh dethrones Ding from China and realizes his dream of becoming world champion, and there are very young videos of him that he wanted to become the youngest world champion, and he has achieved it. So many congratulations to him, and he's finally achieved what we all Indians were waiting for. So Gukesh is the youngest world champion. So D Gukesh has created history, and without any doubt. Okay, so he is a 18-year-old chess prodigy from Chennai. He is from Chennai, India. Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. History by becoming the youngest world chess champion, defeating China's Ding Liren. And Ding was, he make a, rook mistake, and eventually when Gukesh saw it, and he knew the championship would be his. So in the final game of 5 World Chess Championship in Singapore, and even Gukesh was seen as one of the favorites for the game. Gukesh broke the long-standing record held by Russian legend Garry Kasparov for nearly 4 decades. So 40 years he had the record. I think he had the record for around 22 years. Now it is a record set at 18 years. He is the 18th World Chess Champion in history, a lineage that dates back to 1886, and he is the 3rd Asian champion after Vishwanathan Anand and Ding Liren. So after Ding Liren, so Vishwanathan Anand, Ding Liren, and now Gukesh has recreated history in the sense that, second Indian to win this. Okay, or the championship match ended in Gukesh favor after 58 moves, taking its points tally to 7.5. So more than 7 points you needed to win this game, and he has done that. So a critical rook error in the 5th move by Ding Liren. So Gukesh was not expected that, but anyways, these championship matches and the World Cup finals, they always take a toll on the champions of the champion, and that is how out of these champion of champions, one more champions will arise, and today Gukesh is that champion. Okay. Yes, we'll talk about one nation, one nation, one election, which you're talking about. One nation, one elections. Once it is passed, and when we have more important news, we'll also cover one nation, one election. Don't worry about it. So this was the first World Chess Championship contested between 2 Asian players, and this also shows that the importance and how Asian players have become important in chess, and also how India is rising as a chess nation. So we have multiple pool of 10, multiple pool of chess champions from Vidit Gujarati and many other Indian players who are playing this game. And we also need to realize that Garry Kasparov had tweeted that wish with children. So he's taking about Vishwanathan Anand's children, in the sense the prodigy he is, or the coming generation of chess champions he is creating. Okay, so a question, Gukesh is the so from Vidit Gujarati to Gukesh, and many other players are coming, and they are setting them. I'm very hopeful that in the coming future more champions will come. So Gukesh is the youngest chess player in the history to become the world champion. Correct or not correct? Please tell me. He is the 2nd Asian to win the World Chess Championship. Gukesh won the World Chess Championship by defeating Russian. No, he did not defeat Russian. He is the 2nd Asian to win the World Chess Championship. Okay, he is the youngest chess player in the history to become world champion. So the answer to this question is A. Statement 1 is correct. Gukesh is the youngest. Gukesh is the 3rd Asian to world after Vishwanathan Anand. So what was it here? Second, no, it is not the 2nd Asian. He can be 2nd Indian. 2nd Indian is correct, not the 2nd Asian, because the Chinese has been the 2nd, first was Vishwanathan Anand. So, and obviously he did not defeat Russia, and obviously he defeated the Chinese champion. So 2nd and 3rd are wrong. First statement is correct. Let's go to the next important news for today. That is Center committed to protecting country's heritage, Shekhawat. So Place Worship Act is also in the news. We would be covering it in 1 or 2 days regarding it. I want some important statements should come from the Supreme Court. Then we'll also cover that, because Supreme Court has right now just put, that you cannot just go on to take multiple petitions are coming, and they are talking about that all these things which have been built by Mughals or temples were reconstructed. So you cannot just put petition to survey them. So there has been a stay or a ban has been put on that. So we'll cover that news also, and the Worship Act also. That is a very important act, and that we also cover in the coming daily news decodes. Good morning, good morning. So important statement coming from Union Cultural Minister emphasized the government dedication to dedication to protecting India has reaffirmed the government focus on preserving cultural assets for future generation. So cultural assets for future generation, he also spoke on the eve of or rather before Mahakumbh would be happening. Mahakumbh Mela would be happening from 13th January to mid or in the almost the end of February, that is 26th February, and it is expected to garner around 45 crore visitors. So in the current context, there's a lot of temple, temple tourism or religious tourism which is happening, and number of tourists visiting these religious places has increased like anything. For example, if you see the economy of Ayodhya, pre Ayodhya temple or pre Ram temple and after Ram temple, the amount of the money which is coming to Ayodhya has increased like anything, from constructions, in the term of construction, in the infrastructure building, road building. So this, you can also say, this is a religious tourism which is also being, I won't say use the word marketed, but this is also helping the Indian economy to grow, because religious tourism in India is very important. People are very religious in nature, or depending upon whichever faith they are having, and this also, when people visit so many places, or they are visiting Char Dham, or they are visiting Uttarakhand, Kedarnath, the economy of that particular area also starts thriving and it starts increasing, which relates to increasing of unemployment in that particular area. So Mahakumbh Mela 2025 would be happening, approximately 45 crore visitors. Event will serve as a confluence of India's rich spiritual and cultural heritage. That is what the minister has said. Now we need to see what are the major numbers. Okay, what has happened in tourism in the last 10 years, because obviously the minister was talking about what his government has been able to achieve in the last, more than 10 years, because 2014 the BJP or the NDA government came. So let's have these numbers which you can use also. So key achievement in the tourism sector is 76.17 million jobs created in the tourism sector, directly or indirectly. It can be from the auxiliary industry also. Foreign exchange earning rose from $28 billion, marking a 42.53% increase since 2014. That means number of foreign people, or number of people from abroad visiting India for different places has increased like anything. You are seeing a growth of 42.53%. So foreign exchange is increasing. That means it can be European, it can be Chinese, Japanese, or any of the people who are visiting from abroad. These numbers are increasing. This also shows that the tourism industry in India is thriving and growing. Obviously, in the time of COVID, the industry did suffer a lot, because at the time of COVID, when industry was suffering, that was worldwide, that was not only centric to India. So domestic tourism, that is we traveling, for example, you, me, or watching this, domestic travel has been increased by 95.64%. So foreign travel or foreign exchange which is coming, that is around 42%. But Indians have also started traveling a lot. So I beg your pardon, domestic tourism saw 95.64% growth, while India's global trade and tourism development index ranking improved from 65 to 39. So in the terms of tourism, in the terms of travel, we have moved from 65 to 39. Domestic travel has increased more than 95% in the last more than 10 years. So in the context of tourism, we are working many of the, for example, we would also be covering the railway news. So Vande Bharat has come, railway stations are being upgraded, airports have been upgraded, obviously security has also been increased. We are still not up to the mark what happens in the European countries or the kind of standard which we see in America if we try to compare, but we are still working, and tourism in India will grow, and tourism is a very important sector for money generation, wage, or the employment. From economics point of view, tourism can be a very booming sector. And if you see in India, you have everything. You have got mountains, you've got deserts, you've got northeast, you've got the southern temples, you've got everything. And even in the middle of the country, you've got tribal areas. So there are multiple things. India needs to present the soft power of India in terms of culture, needs to be expanded. It needs to be shown to the world in terms of movies. So Bollywood can show it, or if Hollywood can come and start making movies in India, that would also be great. But our presentation, our security, our basic sanitation, food hygiene, if this can be increased or this can be resolved in the major tourism areas, then it would be very good for the country. Okay, so the over 6,800 crore allocated for destination development projects with 3,200, more than 3,200 for lesser known sites which are not popular, but still money is being put, or rather it is important to put so that they also become popular. Like recently we saw that Jammu and Kashmir news that they are trying to find or develop 4 more areas in Jammu and Kashmir so that more tourism increases in Jammu and Kashmir. Already Jammu and Kashmir is popular, from Pahalgaon to Dal Lake to Gulmarg. These are already popular places, but 4 new places are also being developed. So e-tourist tourist visa facility has proven beneficial for international visitors also. So let's go to the next important news, which is related to make many fake narratives on privatization, says Railway Minister. So Railway Minister has given a very categorical statement, that when this Railway Amendment Bill has come, the opposition is saying that this will lead to privatization. The comments have come from the Railway Minister that this is not leading to privatization, and we understand the importance of railways and how it is very important for general public. Please, the importance of this bill is related to this. Let's understand that. So first of all, it repeals the 1905 Act. It repeals the 1905 Act. So whatever was in 1905 Act, that has been repealed, and rather it has been integrated into the 1989 Railway Act. So 1905 Act has been said tata bye-bye, and whatever be the major provisions in that, that has been added in the 1989 Railway Act. So this is what majorly your Railway Amendment Bill 2024 has done. So this is aims to simplify legal framework by consolidating laws, because there were 2 different laws. So the older law of 1905, important provisions were taken and added in the 1989, and the 1905 has been repealed. It has been said tata bye-bye. So now this 1989, what has been incorporated, this is the under Railway Amendment Bill 2024. So it's consolidation of the laws. So there you had multiple laws, you are consolidating and making a single window law. So it empowers the central government to determine number of railway board members, how many railway member board can be there. Qualification, experience and terms of service. So what should be the qualification, experience and terms of service of chairman and members, and method of appointment for these positions, that how these people would be appointed. So these major powers the central government would be getting in terms of the board members, or rather how the entire this railway board will function, how they will not function in the terms of all those people who are coming, how they would be taken. Okay. See, less disposable income, yes, to an extent you are talking about less disposable income in today's reality when the urban spending is failing, Bhuvan. I understand that. But again, you see, if you compare last year or, just the year after the COVID, number of, people traveling who had increased. So again, in the terms of economy, currently, yes, there is a sluggish economy which we are seeing, but we also need to wait for 6 or 8 months in the terms of if the urban spending increases, or if the RBI decreases the repo rate in future, probably in the next quarter or so, or already the CRR has been reduced from 4.5% to 4%. That would put an influx of more than 1 lakh crore in the economy. So let's wait for it. I do agree to a point, but if the disposable income is reducing, the traveling, how the traveling will increase. So this, when you are saying disposable income, you also need to realize that these numbers are for 10 years. They are not for 1 year or 6 months. So in 10 years, they are talking about from 2014 to 2024, and number of people traveling have increased like anything. Bhuvan, I am very sure that you must have seen how people are traveling to Shimla and all these places, and there is a jam of 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers just to reach Shimla. So there is a jam, number of people traveling to Mussoorie. So if you go towards north, people are traveling like anything. So a lot of people have disposable income. So it's not only about that certain section which is not having, but number of people traveling has definitely increased. People who might be having less disposable income, they might be going to, religious places so that their disposable income increases, or they pray that, that they get more opportunities. That we are all, many of us are religious in nature. So maybe less disposable income, they are going towards religious places so that positive things happens with them. Okay. Obviously, I am just trying to give a point to you what might be the thought. So clarification on the Railway Amendment Bill has been given by the Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. He addressed the concerns regarding the Railway Amendment Bill, stating that a fake narrative is being spread about the legislation paving way for privatization, and he has categorically said no to this. So some achievements. So these the achievements of tourism were also after 2014, and these achievements of railways are also after 2014. So government has given some important numbers. So if you're writing a mains answer and something related to railways comes, something related to tourism comes, you can use this data, what has been the development in the last 10 years. So 31,000 kilometer of railway tracks has been laid with electrification complete through public investment. 1,300 railway stations are undergoing redevelopment to improve passenger experience. Obviously, so railways, like there's a renovation which is going of New Delhi railway station, and if you see, many airports are being constructed. So yes, the work is going on. And in terms of, if I say in the northern India where I've traveled a lot, so even the highway construction under Gadkari sir has gone like anything. Lot of development has happened. Okay. So 37,000 LHB coaches, these are basically German coaches, manufactured for the benefit of 140 crore Indians. So these are the numbers: 31,000 kilometers of railway tracks, 1,300 railway stations undergoing, 37,000 LHB coaches being made. And then railway has initiated a drive for manufacture of 12,000 general coaches. In the current financial year, 900 general coaches have been added. On the rolling out of 10,000 more coaches are underway. So obviously a lot of work is going on. In the coming 4 or 5 years, you will be able to see how railway changes. But I think one important deal for me was the introduction of the Kavach system. The problem is that Kavach system is very expensive and it has not been put on every train. So once you put the Kavach system, so that is a anti-collision system that will really benefit all the Indians, and specifically when railway accidents happen across the country. So Vande Bharat train will soon connect Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So currently when it comes to the railway stations, we have reached Jammu. So we are trying to move from Jammu to Srinagar. It will be using that Chenab bridge also. So rail connectivity extends to Jammu, but the project aims to reach Srinagar. Once it reaches Srinagar, then you will actually have connectivity from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. First train on this route are expected to be within the next 4 months. So we are currently in December. So by April or at maximum by May 2025, we should see this train. And once this is inaugurated, I am very sure the railway minister or prime minister might be inaugurating it. Okay, so this is the Vande Bharat train will cross the Chenab bridge. This is the Chenab bridge. This is a marvel of construction, without any doubt. It is even bigger than the Eiffel Tower, which stands at height of 359 meters, making it 35 meters taller than Eiffel Tower. Bridge symbolizes engineering progress and infrastructure advancement. So obviously Chinese have also created these kind of bridges. So in their terms, if you see that Asian countries creating this kind of massive infrastructure, so this also shows not only from the point of India, Chinese already have done it. Now Indians are doing it. That this is the coming decades and this is the coming age of the Asian countries. And this kind of construction also shows that the maturity and the progress and the development which is happening in the civil engineering and infrastructure field in our country. So modernizing the railways, accessibility to the general public, this is the vision of the railway minister, and ipso facto the government's agenda on the Indian railways, that modernization of railways and accessibility to the general public. These are the two parameters which the government of India wants to do with Indian railways. Okay, so before I proceed further, so APEC prelims crash course for geography classes is starting the offline course in Bangalore, and online you can access from anywhere. It has started on 12th December. So today is 13th December. You can still enroll in it, and rest you can scan this QR code for all details, or you can call on this number for all details, and this would be taken by Sudeep sir, the top faculty for geography at Insights IAS. Okay, now let's move to the next important news which all of us wanted to discuss, because this case has taken over all the country and everybody is talking about the Atul Subhash case. Okay, everyone is talking about Atul Subhash case, how the matrimonial laws were used against him. And obviously currently I am talking from the point of view of the allegations which have been put by the deceased person in his long 24-page letter and more than 1.5 hours of video. So we are taking those allegations. Obviously the statements or the comments from his wife Nikita Singhania have not come. Let's see what the statement comes. But the latest update is there that his in-laws were trying to flee from Jaunpur. They were trying to run away in the the night and they were caught on the cameras. Okay, and then when media tried to talk to them, they were not telling. They had put lock on their doors and they were trying to flee, but they have been captured because obviously this particular case has taken the nation by storm. It is only after the case has come, but yesterday a very positive news of Gukesh came, and something positive, which we were hearing. But anyways, we need to talk about that. Gukesh, we've already covered that news. So this news has happened, and again there has been a lot of news data which is coming that there are a lot of fake dowry cases and fake rape cases even. And what recently happened is that section 498A has been abused many times, and these laws were made for the benefit of the women. And obviously I am not saying that these laws needs to be repealed or they needs to be changed, but at the same time the gender parity needs to be there. That is what major lawyers, advocates, and even Supreme Court is saying, that these matrimonial laws which were made for women today, they are being misused by certain fringe or certain women, I would say, or certain families against the male counterpart. So it has become an industry, or there might be certain people with vendetta which are trying to use these acts against people. So for call for gender neutral reforms. So just to reiterate what has basically happened, Atul Subhash was a 34-year-old techie. He was in Bangalore. He was working for the company Accenture. And when you talk about Accenture, his wife was also working. I think his wife was working for Accenture, if I'm correct. And I think he was also working for some tech company also. So he was an automobile executive. And so now Accenture on X had to block his account because there was continuous messages going to fire his wife, because obviously there is a lot of anger in people. Now this is justified or not justified, only time will tell, because we also need to see the statement which comes from his wife also. Okay. So from Bangalore, died by suicide amid a prolonged and contentious family court. He has put allegations against his wife that she was asking for 3 crore rupees. She was asking for 30 lakh rupees to see his son. His son was around 4 years. For the last 3 years, he has not been able to see his son. And even the family court judge was asking 5 lakh rupees to settle the case. And they used to make fun of him that, he had said that I might do suicide. So they were asking that, why are you not doing suicide? In the next hearing, when he went away, in the next hearing when he got there, they were saying you did not do suicide. So these kind of things he has written in his paper, how he was mistreated, how he was harassed by the family court, how he was being asked for bribe. And this has taken the entire nation by storm, that how the family laws, or for that matter the laws which were made for protection of women, today they are being misused, and from women to lawyers to judges, they are trying to asking for bribe and make money. So these are majorly the allegation. So the allegation of harassment by his wife Nikita Singhania, her family demands of 3 crore to settle legal case, 30 lakh for visitation charges. Just imagine, she wanted 30 lakh for visitation charges for his son. So for his son was 4 years, and in his video he's also said that today whatever I am making my money, I am just making my enemies stronger. And then he has in the initial days he was very happy about his son, but today the circumstances which were there, so he was obviously if the harassment goes on to like this, it is very difficult to survive. Obviously some legal course should have been taken which would have saved the life of Atul Subhash, but unfortunately we have lost him. Yes, a few women definitely. So Atul left behind a 24-page death note, recorded video citing multiple false complaints, judicial biases. Multiple times he has been called in Uttar Pradesh, so he had to travel from Bangalore. So this is also one kind of harassment. Death has sparked debates about men's rights, mental health issues, and systemic bias. So this is the important agenda which we need to talk about. We need to talk about men's rights, mental health issues, and systemic bias. Like when we talk about the issues which are troubling women, at the same time, when we in the Decode we have spoken about that female judges needs to be increased. Multiple times we have spoken about women empowerment. This issue is also very important, which needs to be given some time. Okay. So parents have already expressed disillusionment with the judiciary because what has happened in the past with him, and including 40 trips between Bangalore and Jaunpur courts. So in 2 years, I think he had to go 40 times. Just imagine, getting 40 days of leave and continuously going to courts. How easy it is to get the leaves in the contemporary environment of Bangalore offices. You already know that. His mother attributed deteriorating health to the stress caused by the legal battles. Family demanded justice for the son, and that is, I think any family will eventually demand that only. Okay. So Atul has alleged that the family court judge in Uttar Pradesh was biased towards in-laws by his laws, further complicating his effort to securing hearing in divorce and child custody cases. Now Nikita is expected to address the allegation soon. We still have not heard any statement from their family. Let the statement, I think one statement came from his Nikita's uncle, I guess, and he was saying that we will, the lawyer will reply back. Nikita has answers to everything. As per the allegation of Nikita, there was domestic violence against her, and that is was eventually led to this entire separation, divorce, and everything. Okay, and the asking for money. So mother-in-law and brother-in-law of the techie Atul Subhash, who ended his life in Bangalore, fled their home in Jaunpur, even as Uttar Pradesh police were said to receive any official communication from Karnataka. But what are the broader implications? So this is the case. What judgment will come, that only time will tell. But Atul Subhash is not the only case. After this case, multiple cases like have started coming on the social media, on news networks, and this is not the first time that a man is suffering like that. There are been multiple fake dowry cases. This is not me saying, this is statement from a very senior advocate, Vikas Pava, that how section 498 has been misused by lawyers, by police people, by women to make money or to harass the male counterpart. And this, when I say this, I in no way I am saying that this has to be entirely repealed or there are women who are not suffering. Obviously there are women who are suffering in different corners of the country, but there are a few women who are misusing this case, who are misusing this action for their own personal advantage and vendetta. So the incident has reignited discussion on men's mental rights in domestic disputes, and systematic judicial reforms. For example, once you put section 498A, you can put against the husband, entire family, and this is a non-bailable offences. And that is what we are speaking about, that how there can be a balance which can be created. And many times even when we got to know that these are fake cases, police do not take any action, because the allegations against police is that police is able to make money when the allegation is put. Once they get to know that these are fake allegations, police do not even go behind this woman to put charge. These are statements which has come from different people and lawyers. Okay, Atul's plea for justice and his tragic end highlight urgent need for balanced approach in family law disputes. Supreme Court remarks on the misuse of dowry and domestic harassment laws has also come, that domestic laws has been misused, and these and rather they are being used for harassment, misuse of dowry provision and domestic harassment laws in this case. Court has emphasized the need for caution to prevent harassment for the innocent people. Parliamentarians are also talking about to revisit these laws for gender neutral provisions to protect both partners. So when you talk about neutrality, when you talk about gender parity cannot be only for women. Gender parity also need to be exist for men. So that is what parliamentarians are talking about, that the laws need to be equal. So I think that's the major agenda they are talking about. So I also want to understand your opinion. What do you think about it? Please tell me your opinion. This is a very important news, and from the point of view, I am not against any women or girls or anyone. I want to make that clear. So, you know, I'm touch wood, things are very good with me. Let me put that way, and it should be good with you guys also and your parents also. But these kind of cases, they put you know, a nation into shame. These kind of cases, like the chess champion, when it comes, nation is elated. When these cases come, you know, we are still trying, and marriage is a very beautiful institution in our country. It's part of a culture, it's part of everything. But when these cases come, they jolt the nation if there is truth in the case, because still these are against allegations, right? So the case has sparked debates about the effectiveness and fairness of family related legislation. Atul's suicide highlights the alleged harassment by his wife, loss compounded by the judicial delays. Now, judicial delays, 40 hearings, traveling from Bangalore to Jaunpur. Was this justified? So, gender neutrality in matrimonial laws is important mechanism to prevent the misuse of strict legal provision, faster resolution of disputes. So, these are the suggestions which have been given by multiple lawyers, advocates, and people in this field. So, judicial delays and law pendency in family courts leave litigants vulnerable to prolonged harassment. They are harassed by the justice, they are harassed by the police. They will be asking, give us 2 lakh, give us 5 lakh, we will settle the cases. Like in this case, the justice was asking, give me 5 lakh rupees, I will settle the case. So they are continuously asking for money. So the person becomes, you know, a money making machine, or it becomes a ATM as per this case. And there are videos where a person is saying that I'll get married after 2 years, I'll file for divorce, and I'll get the half the money in the alimony. So these are the statements which have come from lawyers, that we need to re-go to these acts. and make some changes so the gender neutrality comes into them. So potential misuse of strict family laws create imbalance, sometimes favoring one party over the another, and basically in this terms they are talking about women and their family, which can lead to exploitation and abuse. So, when I was growing up, these cases of dowry, they used to be huge in our country. They still be are. But at that point of time, the laws were needed to protect and women need to be protected. But at the same time today, men are also needed to be protected, and that is what we need to realize and work upon. So, misuse of section 498A. So, 498A, this is a, just a sec guys. Okay. Sorry, I was just checking a comment out there. So when we talk about section 498, this is the cruelty which is done by in-laws or the husband against the women. So obviously this is a very harsh act and which was needed at that point of far. So alleged misuse of section 498A Indian Penal Code designed to protect women for cruelty by their husband and in-laws. And today it is being misused. This is sent by Vikas Pava. He is saying that it highlights the misuse of section 490 as a tool for extorting money. Extortion is being made, and many cases which he has seen in his life, they are fake in nature. Proposed reforms such as making the provisions bailable, first of all it should be bailable, introducing gender neutral causes to allow men to file complaints, also not only women but men also, mandating mediation before filing cases, that there should be mediation, we need to talk before mediation by any senior person. Advocated accountability to individual filing false cases, that if it is a false case, there has to be a legal action against the person. So these are certain important comments which have come from the lawyer. Okay. And then Manan Kumar Mishra, Juhi Arora, they've also talked about the declining genuine cases under the section 498A. So all are talking about revisiting this act. So broader implication is that incident has brought nationwide attention to section 498A, potential for misuse. Okay, legal experts and policymakers are urging reforms to ensure fairness, including gender neutral provisions. So these are the major statements which have come, or rather the broad implication, or where we need to work for men's rights. So even the statement from Tejasvi Surya has come. The original intent of family related legislature was to protect women from harassment and domestic abuse. However, these provisions have become prone to misuse. So no one is saying that they have been completely misused, but certain section is misusing them, and for that some gender parity changes needs to be made, or some kind of security, or some kind of laws need to be changed in terms which are favoring men, or which becomes gender neutral in nature, so that no nefarious action can be taken against one gender. Okay. And if you find anyone who is this is for everyone, if you have any friends, anyone who have these suicide tendencies, you can call on these numbers. This I was able to get, I was following a news, so always refer to this. Now let's move to the next important. So conclusion is that tragic outcome of case of the wake up call to everyone on balanced reforms and gender neutral approaches needed. So UPSC mains question is there. It's a very important question, so you can go through it. Now let's come towards today's editorial. Okay. So when we talk about today's editorial, this is related to the Pakistan, and this is related okay. The government and judiciary must find gender neutral laws, strict action against false accusation, better mental health support to protect men from harassment and false accusations. Absolutely correct, Parikshit. So Pakistan begins 2-year term as a non-permanent member of United Nations Security Council on 1st January 2025. So the new year is starting with this news. Okay. So marking its 8th stint in the council, and the half of the 10 elected members are coming from Organization of Islamic Cooperation. So influence of Islamic nation in the council, so they might also put some kind of rhetoric or statement against India, and the Islamic countries might support Pakistan. Obviously this is a speculation, but there might be some favor which Pakistan gets. So if we talk about Pakistan, so their policy against Afghanistan can be solidifying more relations with Taliban, or trying to justifying Taliban, since they can get the support of Russia and China also. So leverage UNSC members to improve relations with Taliban. Efforts may center around diplomatic rehabilitation, stability in Afghanistan. In Gaza, they can talk about Palestine should get the state and ceasefire, and statement against Israel can also come. Peacekeeping, Pakistan might use that, since they contribute to peacekeeping forces. They are not a terror state, since they are contributing to this peacekeeping forces, but everybody knows their rhetoric. And Pakistan, it's a sticker, it's a brand. Pakistan is a brand which is called the terror state, so they might try to change that sticker, but it would be very difficult. Nothing changes in 2 years what you've been able to achieve in the last 60-70 years. So Pakistan is expected to push for anti-India narrative, using its seats and trying to say that we are not the country who does terrorism, and it's the India which is doing. They also talk about abrogation of Article 370, how it has led to the people in Kashmir suffering. So these are the kind of rhetoric they can bring, but it's very difficult for them, because Pakistan is currently suffering economically, socially, and in itself the country is asking for the 25th bailout from International Monetary Fund, so they can use the seat. But the condition of Pakistan is not only bad, it's very pathetic in nature. So when you politically, economically, socially or culturally your country is suffering, and you put rhetoric against a nation which is rising, which is the 5th largest economy in the world, it is getting close to $4 trillion economy, and it will soon even become 3rd largest economy in the world. They can put whatever their allegations, but the statement which will come against Pakistan, that would be very difficult for them to answer. Okay. So despite its stated focus on combating terrorism, Pakistan redirect terrorist state tag, but whatever they do, Lashkar-e-Toiba is there, Jaish-e-Mohammed is there, Osama bin Laden was also in Abbottabad, where Pakistan military academy is there, so 12 kilometers for that. So they might say whatever they want, but it's very difficult to prove it on the ground. And sometimes Pakistan also comes with this, fake dossiers also. They come up with these fake dossiers and they'll put, but most of that does not work. So they might start, again they will start their rhetoric on Jammu and Kashmir, despite the lack of appetite among the UNSC permanent members to put their eyeballs on it, because over the years they've understood the hypocrisy of Pakistanis. So they might also talk about Article 370, ICJ statements of Palestine, that Article 370 should be taken to ICJ, in all these statements, but it's very difficult that they'll get support for it. But anyways, India should be ready for this rhetoric and statement which will come. Okay, so this is a dossier I'm talking about. So India successfully countered these efforts, such as the 1261 sanction listing of Abdul Rahman Malik in 2022. Pakistan has weaponized Islamophobia to dilute counter-terrorism measures and target India. OIC nations supported like the UAE recently reintroduced Islamophobia into UNSC discussion. So they might also want that, since Islamophobia has been put in United Nations, they also try to put something on Pakistan or India, Jammu and Kashmir, Article 370, and so on and so forth. Okay, the recent India must strengthen the relationship with like-minded countries, and with the coming of Trump's statements against Pakistan are very much against them, and Pakistan might also find some kind of support from Bangladesh or some other like-minded countries, because Bangladesh is like-minded right now with the current dispensation under Muhammad Yunus, and they might also use something called area formula. So what is an area formula? It's an informal meeting for members of the UNSC, which must be convened by the member of UNSC in order to meeting. So they might use area formula to put some things against India. So misuse the mechanism like area formula. So recent support by US and Western has thwarted Pakistan attempts to use area formula, otherwise they would be using it. Focus on multilateral cooperation. So India should highlight shared priorities on climate change. India can, so you can show BRICS, you can show Kazan, you can show Shanghai cooperation, the relationship with the America, Israel, Russia. So the India today is at a pivot where we are talking to everyone. Her dehyphenation policy is successful. Yes, we have some problems with Nepal and Bangladesh. Even with China, we are trying to rectify our relationship. So I am very sure that India at the UNSC, and even at, for that matter, UNGA, would be able to use the countries in their favor. So countering rhetoric would be very important for India, and I'm very sure they would be able to do it. So what are the Pakistan limitations? First of all, economic collapse, political instability, misplaced priority. They are trying to build 15 naval ships when they don't even have money for food, shelter, and basic necessities for Pakistani. Member nation state are likely to see through Pakistan attempts to misuse the UNSC for domestic gains. So these are the major things which Pakistan needs to find resolve and sort, rather than making rhetoric statement at UNSC. This is a UPSC mains question you can go through. In the tidbits, you have a news that Donald Trump has been named Person of the Year, second time in Times Magazine, for his comeback in the presidential election, and how he actually come back in the historical political comeback and his influence. In the extra mile, you have what is disease X and why the world should prepare for it. And you can also follow Sapna ma'am for ICANN news. This comes on Monday, Wednesday and Friday on the Insights YouTube channel. So thank you very much, and it was lovely talking to you guys, and we'll meet tomorrow with the same amount of news and vigor. Please put your comments. Please do like the session, share the session, press the bell icon. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind. And obviously one big comment has come. I've answered this. Sir, why the opposition is moving a confidence motion against Rajya Sabha chairman? We'll talk about that later. Now we have already ended the session. Thank you.